Hey soldiers, so you're looking for a way to improve that credit score. And you may have seen an ad for Experian Boost. Does it work? Does this service actually boost your credit score? And if so, how does it do it? Well, we got an honest review here. We're going to go over it and let you know what we think about Experian Boost. Now, we all know that being able to have a good credit score is the key to basically making money cost less. Why would you want to make money cost less? So that you can get better rates on car loans, better rates on home loans, mortgages. Also, lower that credit card debt. We advocate that if you have a credit card, you go ahead and pay that off during the 30-day cycle so that you do not incur interest on that card. Okay. Some, financial gurus, I guess you would call them, say that you shouldn't have a credit card at all. I'm not an advocate of that way of thinking. Now, if you are disciplined, adult about the situation, then sure, you can have a credit card as long as you understand how to manage it. And part of that management, effective management, is paying that thing off within that 30-day cycle. Because if you don't, and you wind up incurring interest charges, then whatever you purchased has now become more expensive. So being able to have a good credit score actually will help you to get lower interest rates on all those things I just mentioned: loans, credit card rates, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, before we get into Experian Boost, let me tell you a little story about how I totally screwed up my credit. I was young and dumb, and I was in college actually at the time. I was working at the Department of Student Activities at my college, making $4.10 per hour. This should kind of tell you how long ago it was, if you, care to research it. In any event, one day, Discover Card and MasterCard set up tables at the college. Now, I think you know where this is going. So I signed up with both of them. About 2 weeks later, in the mail, I felt the envelope and I felt part of it was firm. So I knew there's a card in here. And sure enough, the first one I got was Discover. The second one was the MasterCard. And I had a $300 limit on both of those cards, which at that time was a decent amount of money. In fact, it was more money than I should have gotten with a $4.10 per hour part-time job at my college. Now, the director of student activities, this gentleman, he was a good mentor to me. And I forget how, I think he saw like some indication in some documentation on my desk that I had a credit card. And so he pulled me into his office and he said, "Hey, listen, Tyrone, I'm going to give you some advice. Take those credit cards. If you got credit cards, cut them up. Just cut them up and forget about them for now. There'll be time enough for that. But right now, you really don't make enough money. And Tyrone, you live with your mother. You don't really need. I mean, you're working. You're trying to build yourself up." So I said, "Nah, I'll consider it," which he knew meant I'm not going to cut these cards up. And I commenced to go on a spending spree, okay, quite foolishly. Now, here's what really precipitated the spending spree. When I got my first bill, I think I had spent maybe $50. And when I saw that $50 wasn't necessarily due, but there was a minimum payment, I think it was like maybe $10, okay? I said, "Oh, wow, I've hit the jackpot." And I said, these minimum payments are always going to be less than the maximum payment. So I started to spend. Now, a work-study job, for those of you who may not know, this is not a full-time permanent job. The job came to an end at the end of the semester. I wasn't making any money over the summer. Very little. I was making money, but very little. So those minimum payments started to grow. Okay. The minimum payments then started to, have late fees attached because I started missing payments. And before you knew it, they had cut off my cards and I was in debt. Okay. That was a hell of a learning experience for me. A very valuable one. What I should have done, an expensive one as well. The free lesson would have been taking my boss's advice. But they say life gives the test first and then the lesson. That's what happened in my case. So I just want to put that out there because that's kind of the danger. Now, I got slapped across the wrist because I only had $600 worth of credit. In the grand scheme of things, that wasn't a lot. But if you multiply this out by, maybe thousands of dollars in extended credit, it can get nasty. So Experian Boost, this is an app. You can also pull it up on your computer, but it adds cell phone, utility, and streaming services. Those payments are added to consumer credit reports. Now, it sounds good on the face of it, right? All right, because you know that if you're trying to build credit from scratch, it can kind of be a catch-22 type situation because lenders are sometimes reluctant to extend you credit if you don't have any or if you have a very thin credit history. So Experian is trying to assist people with that. Now, we all know Experian is a major credit bureau, one of the 3 major credit bureaus for consumers. They've created a free service. Experian Boost is a free service, and it allows you to add additional data to your credit file to, in an attempt to get you to improve that score. Now, why would Experian do this? Because they want you in the game, okay? America is a consumer economy. To keep the engine going, they want most people in that credit game, acquiring things, all right? Using credit, okay? But now we on the Soldiers of Finance channel, all of us soldiers here. And if you haven't become a soldier, it's easy. All you need to do is hit subscribe. Like this video also. We believe in acquiring, appreciating assets. All right. Now, you do have to go out there and buy some depreciating liabilities at some point in your life. You have to buy clothes. You have to buy a car. Most of us don't use our cars for the purposes of building wealth. We got to just, run around town. I get it. But what we focus on and what our emphasis as soldiers of finance is acquiring those appreciating assets. Now, with regard to Experian Boost, your payment history is the most influential factor that makes up what's called your FICO score. It accounts for 35% of your credit score. Experian Boost, that app, allows you to add positive payment history to your credit report by linking utility bills, phone bills, even payments to streaming services to your credit file. Now, this is what you got to bring to the table. You must have at least one active credit account, such as a credit card or a personal loan. You've got to already have that in order to initiate the service, in order to sign up. Bills and streaming services that are compatible with Experian Boost include the following. As of this date, mobile and landline phones, your internet service, cable and satellite service, gas and electric, water, power and solar, trash. Yes, there are many people in the country who pay for trash removal. And you also get your streaming services. They're able to be added. So Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, on and on. You can add those. Now, that's pretty attractive. That's very attractive. This service, Experian Boost, like I said, it's free. It requires that, you set up an online account via the Experian webpage. You can also download the app on your smartphone. It's then going to prompt you to link a bank account, the bank account that you use to pay your bills. A lot of people have a little consternation about that, but it's going through one of those secure servers again, one of those services that are specializing in linking your bank to a third-party service like this. So you need to read the terms and conditions to make sure you're comfortable with the security surrounding that. Okay, but if you do that, from there, your account is scanned for on-time utility, cell phone, and streaming payments from the last 24 months, the last 2 years. Experian Boost only reports positive information. Okay, that's attractive. So your late payments, if you had any, won't be reported. But you should prioritize making on-time payments, just generally, with or without this app, of course, right? Because you want to keep any money you need to borrow as inexpensive as possible. And how do you do that? By making sure that you're in a credit position to get the lowest rates, lowest interest rates on that money. Okay, so you're going to need a minimum of 3 months of payments within a 6-month period for Experian Boost to work. Okay, so you gotta have been in the game a little bit so that it will have something to draw from in order for this to work. So if you're just starting out, okay, give it a few months before you get the service, because otherwise it really won't work to its maximum effect for you. Now, we talked a little bit about the security of the service. All of these, Experian rather, is a big company. They've been out there for a while. They've got security, but again, you need to do your due diligence to find out if you're comfortable with their level of security. When they collect data from you, they're only authorized to view read-only data. Okay, they don't have access to your funds. Also, they're not reporting the negative data. We already went over that. And Experian securely accesses the user's bank statement data to identify valid payments made to those companies that we spoke of. But they don't store any personal banking information, okay, per Experian. That's what they're saying. They do not store that information. Now, here's a big question. Does it work? Does it improve your credit score? Well, this is an honest review. Since it only considers positive payment history when they assess the credit score, the increase that you may see on your FICO score is only going to be, it's going to be really slight, okay? In fact, the average increase for the service is 10 to 13 points. Okay, so if you're looking for a big 50-point boost or a 100-point boost, this is not going to do it for you. Okay. Now, of course, those are the averages. So some may experience a little better, but on average, it's 10 to 13 points. So that means about half of these people get a boost that is lower than 10 to 13 points. And, you know, yes, half get higher, but higher could be 20 points. Okay. So if you're working with a 620, let's say you get that 20 points. So now you got a 640. But if you got a thin credit file, or your credit score is below 670, and you're trying to build up your credit, this could help you. Okay. After all, it is free. It's not like they're charging you for it, to have the service. Again, they want you in the game. That's why this is being offered. In fact, as of July 1st, 2023, medical debt is going to start falling off of credit reports. We're going to do a whole report on that. So they're really trying to make it easier for you to stay in this credit game and be able to make purchases and acquire credit. And is that, are their motives altruistic? No. No, they're not at all. They're driven by money. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going to get credit and they're going to mess up with it like I did when I was in college. But a lot of other people are going to take these new processes and be able to build something from that. Now, into every life, a little rain must fall. Every silver lining has a cloud. What are the cons of this system? Well, one of them is that the app, Experian Boost app, only affects what's called your FICO 8 scores based on Experian data. So anybody out there who's trying to extend, or you're working with to get credit extended, if they're using a different scoring model or data from one of the other two credit bureaus, they're not going to see your boosted score, okay? Equifax and TransUnion, those are the other two big consumer credit scoring agencies. Additionally, adding your utility payments to Experian's records does not carry over to those other two agencies, Equifax and TransUnion. You might be wondering, well, I pay my rent on time. Does Experian Boost include rent? It does not. However, you can add rent payments to your credit report with services like Experian Rent Bureau. So if you want to do that, then you need to look into Experian Rent Bureau. But with Experian Boost, only utility, cell phone, and streaming service payments apply for right now. So what's the outcome here? What do I think? I think that if you are just starting out trying to build your credit, or maybe you're recovering like I had to do after my debacle, my self-imposed debacle in college, this may be the thing for you. Look, 10 to 13 points may not sound like much, but it is when you are thinking about the journey of improving your credit. Now, of course, you need to do a lot of other things that will help with that as well. You can apply for a secured credit card if you're in the recovery phase, because they want you in the game, okay? Just because you screwed up once, believe me, you'll be given other chances to get back in the game. But when you do, you got to do it in a much more disciplined fashion. And I would say that Experian Boost will assist you in doing that. So that's my take. Now, another service we did an honest review on is Rocket Money. Go check out that report. You might be surprised at what we think about Rocket Money, but we tell you the whole story. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.